So, if you want to leave this video, TLDR, I've never made a bullet hell game before, but after making one, I'd like to do some more. There, now you can click off. But for those who are actually going to watch the video, thanks, there's a surprise waiting for you at the end. Anyways, let's jump into it. This is my game Mayday. It's a shmup bullet hell that has you take control of a ship named the Skylon. The main mechanic is that after each wave you get an upgrade to a stat, with the trade-off of another. Attack lowers defense, defense lowers speed, and speed lowers attack. It's a rock, paper, scissors mechanic that I thought up one day while lying in my bed. That'll be fun, I thought to myself. I'm a fan of RPGs and stat building in general, so combining that with fast gameplay should have been pretty fun. Anyways, when I first built the prototype, I found the game to be fun, but I wanted it to be more intense and more complex. That's when I started thinking of having unique enemy patterns per stage along with item boxes. I'm assuming that you've played or know of Mario Kart and its item box mechanics. Even if you don't, the name alone should give you an idea of how it works. You hit a box, get an item, and that can be used for offensive or defensive purposes, sometimes both. In Mayday, I made it so that each item can drastically change the flow of gameplay. You get invincibility, HP restores, or my personal favorite but hard to find, Nuke. Seriously, I played this game so many times and I still couldn't actively get Nuke, or when I did, I pulled it too early so that it didn't hit the enemies, so you'll have to just trust me when I say that it exists. Anyways, hopefully you found what I've said to be slightly interesting, and there's a demo on Steam for you to try, if you want to of course. Now, let's talk a little bit about my personal relationship with bullet hells to round out the video. I was aware of Touhou for a long time. In fact, I knew of the reputation of it being this really hard-ass game, and one of the hardest out there, and also that the music slaps and it is very popular with a lot of artists of all kinds. I know that Dark Souls is often considered to be one of the hardest games around, but trust me, there exists plenty of challenging games that you'd be pretty surprised that exist. But I get it. It's usually because these games get lots of traction that most people run with a single narrative that From Software games are usually the hardest in the industry, but I digress. Touhou is a Mad Lads game that makes me weep when I just watch it. I haven't personally gone around to playing it yet, so if you find any games that you think would be great for a beginner like me, let me know in the comments. Or I could just do a search. I did grow up playing Star Fox Assault, however, which I know is a rail shooter slash third-person shooter with action elements on further ground missions. That game had a pretty profound impact though on me as a kid, as it was my first exposure to outer space, so I actually had a really big fascination with exploring space, and in grade 9 science I was, just fucking obsessed with that stuff. And I always looked at the night sky like some pleb. Ikaruga is a great example of bullet hell madness. The main mechanic is polarity switching, which allows you to switch in between two colors, white and black. Same color bullets are absorbed as energy, while opposite colored bullets destroy the ship. The core mechanic forces a choice between defensive absorption and offensive double damage. It's a really fun game with insane amounts of thrills and replayability, something that I'd love to emulate in my own games, but plenty of people have made more in-depth breakdowns of it, so I don't really need to talk about it here. Still here though, I just so here I can't do this part. Look, if you're here and you're still watching, thank you. As I said in my previous video, have a cookie. One of the most underrated games in the entire world and deserves all the love is Kid Icarus Uprising, an epic reimagining of Kid Icarus by Masahiro Sakurai, the creator of Kirby and a little known game known as Smash Brothers. This is a rail shooter, but the difficulty and level variety is something that helped influence my own game. Uprising is one of my personal favorites from childhood till now, and I enjoy how intense the game can feel while crafting a world that's pleasing to look at and fun to explore. The replayability comes from its insane weapon system and powers to help you through each section. And right, for those unaware, because the game didn't sell too well unfortunately, you have flying stages and ground stages. In each, you have one weapon, but you have two sets of powers to use. So in the sky stage, you have a predetermined power, but on the actual ground, you get to select which powers you want prior to the stage. I won't go crazy in depth about Uprising, as I'll be here all day, but with that being well, look, I really don't want to get around. I can't get around this, but there really is no way to actually play it. I mean, in the legal sense. And well, I think you know what to do. Just don't look back to me. And of course, the last and probably most famous example of a famous bullet hell that most people have probably played or got secondhand exposure to is Undertale. Now, despite it being an RPG, it does still count as a bullet hell, and I really did enjoy it and was introduced to it by a good friend of mine back when it came out. If you don't know how it works, you control a heart and dodge enemy fire. That is a grossly oversimplifying of it, but yeah, this isn't the video to get into insane depth about that stuff. So, yeah. At the time, there was some discourse about it not being a true RPG, but the reception says otherwise. And to round out this video, like I said at the beginning, I've never made a bullet hell game prior to Mayday. But after making one, I'd like to do some more. Maybe we can get more intense. Maybe I'll even just start a new devlog series about me making a new bullet hell game. But, well, I'm working on another game, so I have to see how that goes. And I'm also working on another game for class. So, yeah, just, I don't know. Thanks for watching and have some brain rot. Blah, 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 blah. I'm keeping this in. I just meant to say have some brain rot.